enthusiasm, you can't say no to someone who's genuinely passionate and excited. And that's what's gonna open doors. Enthusiasm is contagious.
I'm Kevin Atlas, and I'm bringing some of the most successful, most inspirational human beings on this planet into your classrooms. They beat the odds, they overcame adversity, and through that, they found a way to believe. I've partnered with Varsity Brands to provide the answers, the blueprints. I have this heart that bleeds for the youth of this country, so I fight as a soldier for change, and I want us all to learn to lead, and not just to elevate ourselves, but to elevate each other. I'm looking for students nationwide to take action from what they learned from this series. This is how the world changes. It starts with you. Colm Dillane is a young fashion designer and founder of KidSuper, and with over a decade in the industry, he has broken the mold when it comes to designing clothes and how he uses his brand to help others. What Colm created with KidSuper is more than just a clothing brand. He transformed his Brooklyn storefront into a complete collaboration space, with living quarters, a recording studio, clothing shop, artist space, and more. He uses this space and time to perfecting his creativity any way that he can.
I was born in New York City. My mom is Spanish and my dad is Irish, and they both immigrated to New York kind of to get away from where they were coming from and follow their dreams. And like America represented manifest destiny, but in, you know, the 70s or 80s. From New York, we moved to Chicago, then back to New York, then to Mexico, which I think kind of led and molded me into the person I was today, because every first day was like, hey, we're about to be best friends because I don't know how long I'm gonna be here for, so let's make the most out of this.
Everyone's situation is different, and so often life can get out of control. What I think Colm can really teach us here is to make the best out of every situation, and to use that to help grow and prosper.
From early on, the thing that I loved most about the t-shirt business was the people it was introducing me to. I loved meeting people for a reason. You know, I'm not a huge like, hey, let's socialize and go clubbing and like go to a bar or like go like play video games. I'm not that kid. I loved like, hey, I'm Colm, I made this, you make awesome stuff. Let's make more awesome stuff, you know what I mean? And from the first t-shirt I made became the scenario. And I think everybody when they're in high school has these goals and thoughts of their future and what they're gonna be. And so I always had these huge ideas, like I'll be a soccer player, an actor, an artist, anything and everything. And I remember the first About Me page for KidSuper, which I probably wrote when I was like 18, was KidSuper is the childlike wonder that anything is possible. And that was the KidSuper moment.
Colm managed to shape his environment into a world of inspiration, which seems to spread to everyone that crosses his path. But the road to success is always gonna have many speed bumps along the way. So I got a chance to sit down with Colm and discuss the idea of failing and why it doesn't always have to be a bad thing.
When I was 14, I started something, right? And that's why I have a head start on everybody. Because I failed as so many people, but I was failing at 17, 18, 19, when you kind of have time to fail. And so when I did graduate college and start this, I was already 5 years of failure deep, so.
Would you recommend for like high schoolers watching this to, you know, just to try to fail, try and try again and keep failing until you learn? That's how you learn.
The thing that you're like, you never are conscious of, but at every age in your life, you're like, oh, I'm too old or too young to do something. And looking back, I wish I started literally everything at any point. Like, I'm gonna start guitar right now, because in 10 years, I'm gonna be killer at guitar. But right now, there's a little part of me that's like, start guitar now, I'm past my time. I'm not 10 anymore. But that was always like the takeaway of this is just try. And the coolest thing about trying, and I didn't come up with this quote, but I thought I did, but then it's a Confucius quote, but enthusiasm is contagious. So if you're 15 years old and you're trying something, someone's gonna get excited about your excitedness, you know what I mean? People are gonna be like, whoa, this kid's coming up to me and he's curious and he wants to make things. People are afraid to try hard, and I think that's all switching. Like, trying hard is the new cool. Like, giving it your all is awesome, failing's cool, all that stuff.
So do you want to show us some of your art, some of your clothing, and how you were inspired to, piece it all together?
Yeah, I just released a couple new pieces that I'm excited about. Do you know who J Balvin is?
Who's J Balvin? Tell me for the viewers.
He is the #1, he's the biggest artist in the world according to Spotify. He's a reggaeton superstar.
Nice.
I made these jumpsuits and he would always wear them. We ended up doing like 6 colorways of these jumpsuits, but they became his clothing that he wore every day for every tour.
That's awesome, man.
So that's pretty cool. I'm a big soccer player. When I was 17, I went to Brazil for a year to play soccer. This is like a manager's jacket that has a picture of Ronaldinho on it, because it's Ronaldinho taking a corner kick, and it's me as a little kid taking a corner kick. So basically,
cool.
Me and Ronaldinho are the same person. This is cool. This was like a fashion show I did where I made like women's dresses. Because, yeah, the cool thing about KidSuper is that it's built on like, anything's possible, you can do it too. So when I wanted to do women's clothing, it was very on KidSuper brand because nobody thought I was gonna do it.
Always doing the unexpected, Colm has expanded to help elevate the people around him and helping foster and motivate success with his friends and roommates. This began with platinum hip-hop artist Russ, who got his start while working at KidSuper. During Russ's 6-month stay, he created hundreds of songs in the studio, and 7 of them went on to go platinum. Ever since, Colm has been hosting artists who are willing to come in and master their craft. On our visit, Safa Ga, an up-and-coming hip-hop artist, has been taking advantage of the space to grow his music.
I feel like this is where I got my start. I put out my first album from here. I produced my first album here. Like, I produced one of my first songs here. So being in this creative environment like this, I'm free to do that whenever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, wherever in the building too. It's a whole building, so it's like I could go to the 2nd floor and take the mic and my computer and just make a song up there. So it's like, this is like one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
Since we last talked to Safa Ga, he has been performing shows all over New York City and is beginning to generate a large following. His continuous hard work and dedication to his music has started to gain traction all over the country. Safa's work ethic and belief in himself has gotten him this far, and I'm excited to see where that will take him in the future. Safa's success is just another example of that KidSuper magic that seems to exist.
I think it's just an attitude. And when as long as you keep that attitude, which Colm's been able to do kind of every day of his life for others, myself included, if you lose that attitude or you're unable to keep it, it's where you don't keep progressing and doing and creating. So that is the attitude towards creation.
I think as a creative, being at KidSuper and being around other creatives, you're naturally gonna learn off others, see where you can do things differently, be inspired by other forms of art. Like, it may not be photography, but someone might be painting, but like the creative process is always gonna be similar.
It was about kind of building a community that let people in. And because I never thought the coolness came from purchasing, and buying my clothes isn't what excites me. You know what I mean? It's kind of the meeting new people and bringing people in together and having these events and this community, and me as a creative and an artist developing, and the story was more important and more inspiring than the clothes or the brand or whatever. Yeah, I'm good at designing clothes or their unique pieces, but that's like the tip of the iceberg. That's what people are seeing, and that was the easiest thing for me to do as a young kid. But where the power lies is the message behind KidSuper and how I can apply that to different things.
I think if there's one thing we can take away from Colm, it's just to start. Play that instrument that you've always wanted to. Join that sport, even if you don't think you're that good at it yet. Join that club that you've always been curious about. We can't live our life making excuses. The time is now. Start doing, start living.